Hi everyone, Alex is here and let's talk today about front-end security. It's not a huge topic. There won't be a lot of different things. We'll be talking about cybersecurity a little bit later in the next videos. But today we'll be talking about something that you can do on your front end or understand how does it works so you won't have really important leaks on your front-end side. Let's check. Let's go with one of the most important problems that we can have and one of the most easy to create by any developer and easy to solve by any developer. So it's easy to create by any hacker and easy to solve with any developer. So we have a simple leave your comment field, and let's imagine that we're working on YouTube and we have comment there. So what you can do? In general, you can make a simple movement. Like you can just write the next code, like script, and let be alert hi. It's nothing bad here in this code, but only in this one. The problem is that if you will write the code, we'll be talking about vanilla JavaScript today, and you will be writing InnerHTML, for example, and you will just add what the user has written, this code will execute. So you literally will see an alert hi. And what does it mean? It means that the user can in general write fetch request to its server and, for example, to take some information that you have, for example, the cookies that you have. And based on the cookies, he can understand on which websites you're logging in. And if you're logging in some specific website, they can just enter login into your applications and then take all of your bank accounts and etc. So that's how it works. And basically an idea here is that you're just preventing writing HTML code. You of course can prevent writing some text, but just understand that it can be JavaScript also. It can be plain JavaScript. It can be CSS, JavaScript, like it doesn't matter. There could be a new technology that you could, which you should be able to update, but forgot to do that. So there are a lot of such things. But what you can do, you can just see all the comments as text, not as HTML, because InnerHTML takes everything that is inside of it as HTML block. So if we're taking, for example, text content, whatever you will write inside your square brackets, inside of your script file, inside of like any CSS, HTML, JavaScript, anything, it will be just thinking as a plain text, nothing hard. And that's one of the easiest way how to save that and not be able to have XSS attack. So XSS is cross-site scripting, when we're just executing our hacker's script by writing it inside of our system. That's the problem. And the problem here, one more time, is not the user will attack like all of your system. It will attack other users probably, because mostly such attacks are focused on taking information from them and to send it back to you, to hacker, I mean. So that's the thing that you should prevent and think twice before creating like a simple form. And let's back to our forms, because okay, we can prevent, for example, XSS attack and block just all of the comment that the user has been reading and just show it like a plain text. But is it everything that we have here the problems? Not. One of the most important thing is CSRF. So what is that? It's token that is generated by server and tells that if I will have requests from a specific user, this user should have specific tokens, so I will be sure that this request is real. What is the problem? Let's check, for example, a simple form where you're making a transfer to the bank. Imagine you have a bank cabinet, and there is a form, make a payment. You're making that. When you're doing that, your bank is setting up a lot of information for you. For example, cookies, some your login information, and etc. The problem here is with another websites. Because you're logged into your session, that a lot of the time is when you're on the Chrome or Safari or other browsers and you're not closing that, you're still there, or not a lot of the time has been passed. So you have all the sessions inside of your application, and it's not only there, it's also can be shareable with others' websites. And the problem will be that if we have, for example, another website that you are not helping, some hacker is owning that website. And there is a simple button, for example, that writes, click me and we'll see video about cats, for example. And what we can have? We can have a hidden form. As you can see here, we have type hidden for hacker's account and amount that we wanted to send to hacker. And the same bank API. With bank API, it's quite harder, so it's why you can prevent it and how you can prevent it. So this thing is both for front-end and back-end side. So back-end should check every time when when someone is sending information on their API, not only user's info, but also CSRF token. How does it work? So when you have all of that information stored in your browser, it can be in general easily can be sent in here because all the information is already stored inside of your browser. So that will be a problem and you will be hacked. And that's why you should prevent that. How you can prevent it? You cannot prevent that another hacker will use that on their website, your API. But what you can prevent? You can use different techniques to prevent this situation. And one of them is CSRF token. So CSRF token has been generated on the server. It's always unique. It's even always unique for specific person at a specific moment. The user can refresh that, and this CSRF token can be every time different. How does it work? When we have user with some credentials, login, password, ID, we're having that in database. But our server, when we're going to the web page, they're creating a specific number for different forms. That's called CSRF token. It's just some numbers with words, it doesn't matter. This thing is being held in for some session during the client is on the server. And when we're making a request, for example, for transfer, we not only should check the credentials, we also should check, firstly, if CSRF token exists. If not, we're just closing that connection. If it's not connected on the server side or on the client side, we're just closing that request. If we have, for example, CSRF token on our server, so it's held in on a variable, it's like just held in that, we are making request and we don't have CSRF token, this will be blocked because we don't have CSRF token, so you think that this connection cannot be secure. Or, for example, the hacker have any random one, it compares, like it has the compare that this client has this CSRF token for this specific moment. That's why sometimes when you can open two, like the same web page, with different forms. Sometimes the older form cannot be working because of that new CSRF token. Sometimes they can just save a couple of such CSRF tokens, but it's better every time to save only one per user session. So that will be the best practice because it will be more reliable. That's how it works. So we have such things like it's how it will be seen on your local website. So it will be on the hidden, for example, CSRF and your value. Like this thing will be taken by your server. It can be named as it wants to. But our modern frameworks just making that by the moment. So for example, CSRF token on Django. How you can realize that on Node.js? You're creating, for example, a server, you're creating middleware, and for example, you're creating your secret. Then you're using CSRF protection. It also will be based on the cookie. So when we're getting form, you can see get form. We're taking and creating CSRF tokens. So it will be created automatically, and it will be given as CSRF token. So in the form, we'll put value CSRF token, and we'll put it as CSRF. And then on the post, on the process, we'll be checking that. Like if CSRF is equal to that one that has been generated. So it's all been in CSRF library, so we just can compare that because they have methods to compare all of that, so we should not store that by ourselves. Everything is being automated right now. Also have such example on Laravel. So all of that moments, we can see that CSRF is now been working a long time with us, and it's quite automated. So please use that to know for sure that your connection is secure. That's the most important here. That's about CSRF. So it will be generated on the server and be sent back for you. You can make simple HTML with simple CSRF on JavaScript, but it won't be good. It will be a very bad idea because JavaScript is open source and we can see all the JavaScript on our computer. And even if it's a bundle file, we can make it more like human reading and we'll understand the logic. So in any case, keep that in your backend and always write that on your front end. In this way, that way, or if it's been just given you by backend, just take this value and put it in your form. And then when you'll be sending that, send this value. So just this hidden type input. And finally, let's talk about API keys. So when you're working on your front end, sometimes you could think, oh, I have API key for some Apple Maps or Google Maps system or integration or for some even ChatGPT integrations. Yes, that all can be. But try not to use that. Try to use that inside of your server. So there's the thing, only one here. Use proxy requests and not use it on the front end. So it's just two rules. How to use that on the proxy? So let's check beta variant. When we have our API server and we're making requested here, you can see it here. That won't be good. That will be quite a bad idea because everyone can see our API key, they can hack it, they can take our account, so it's quite bad realization. Let's talk about this one. First, we have proxy. So no one really knows where we are going. Sometimes we have information on our on our website when we're making such requests, but sometimes, mostly, we won't have full information on that. We're just making this request, it will go to our server, and then our server on its end will go to the right place. So that's the most crucial. So first, we don't know where we are going to, which relay API. Secondly, we don't hold API keys on our front end. We're holding that on our back end. And how we do that? First, we are writing env file. Env file is a local file that won't even go to them publicly. Like sometimes it can, just like you can write just env and it can go live, but sometimes we have env.local. And in .local, we are holding some passwords, usernames, such things that are crucial for our application. And let's go further. That's what we have. And we have our API get some data, so it's our proxy that we are going here. And then when we're going here, we have process env, so we don't know where is this key. This key is in env file, and each user even can have their own env files with their own data, for example, for testing. But for your main application, you will have your GitHub repository, for example, or GitLab, Bitbucket, whatever you have, and you will be able to write your own secrets. We have been doing that with Dockerfile, Docker creation, so check it out to know that for sure. And next thing, we're just taking that from our secrets, so no one knows that. Even the person who is working with your application cannot know that API key. They're just working with this code and this processing this secret key, and then you're using this API key in your request, and this is completely anonymous. So like no one will know where you're going and which API key you're using. So that's the basic minimum of working with your front-end security. So try more rely on backend. And for that, do not do any important things. For example, checking all the verifications. Like you're trying to fully verify if the request is good on the form. No, double check that on the backend, because on the front end, first it can be changed very easily. You're just going to inspect and change and all of that. It's quite bad thing. So try rely on the backend. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, for example, verify something on your front end. Front end makes reactivity. So if you're writing something, you can easily say that it's not right, rather than making requests and then taking a response and understand that that's not good. So that's the key difference here and the key thing for you to know. Please rely on the backend, not be sure that your front end is fully secure, because your front end can be the place number one of your security leaks. That's why keep an eye on that. Thanks everyone for watching this video. I'm really happy that you have been here. You motivates me, and I want to make more and better videos for you. So I will be wishing you all the best, and see you next time. See you.